The big room was silent as Ambassador Tatian Kim fixed his tie. Today was the most important day in human history. Aliens were real, and they wanted to talk. "Are you ready, sir?" asked his assistant, handing him a tablet with his speech notes. "As ready as anyone can be to meet beings from another world," Taehyun said with a small smile. The year was 2157. 3 months ago, huge ships had appeared near Jupiter. They sent a message in perfect English. "We are the Galactic Alliance. We come in peace." Now, in a special building made just for this meeting, humans would talk face to face with aliens for the first time. The doors opened. Taehyun took a deep breath as 6 tall beings walked in. They had blue skin that shimmered like water. Their 4 eyes blinked at different times. "Welcome to Earth," Taehyun said, bowing slightly. "We are honored by your visit." The tallest alien stepped forward. "I am Speak for All. We have watched your world for many years. Your people grow quickly in knowledge and skill. We wish to welcome you to the stars." Taehyun felt a surge of pride. Humanity had done it. They were going to join a group of space traveling races. A smaller alien with green markings moved to stand beside Speak for All. "I am Ju Park, born on your Korea, but taken to the stars as a child. I will help our peoples understand each other." Taehyun was shocked. An alien who looked like the others, but with a Korean name. Before he could ask questions, alarms began to sound. "Alert! Unknown ships entering Earth space." A voice called over speakers. The screens in the room showed new ships, black and sharp like knives. They moved fast toward Earth. "The Vorik," hissed Speak for All. "They should not be here." The screen changed to show a new alien. This one had red scales and yellow eyes with thin black lines for pupils. "So these are the humans," the red alien said, its voice cold. "We of the Vorik Empire have watched you too. You make weapons. You fight wars. You kill your own planet. And now the Alliance would give you the stars." "High Commander," Speak for All said, "this meeting is peaceful. Your ships must leave." "We have the right to see any new race before they join you," the Vorik leader said. "And we see only danger in these humans." Taehyun stepped forward. "We come in peace. We seek only knowledge and friendship." The Vorik commander laughed, a sound like stones breaking. "Peace? Your history is war. Your nature is violence. You are not ready." A small object appeared on the table between them. It glowed with strange symbols. "What is that?" Taehyun asked. "A test," the Vorik said. "If you are truly peaceful, you will pass. If not," the alien smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Prepare to be judged by the Arbiter." The object exploded in bright light. When people could see again, the Vorik face was gone from the screen. Speak for All looked worried. "This is very bad. The Vorik rarely agree with us about new races, but they have broken rules by coming here like this." Ju Park turned to Taehyun. "The Arbiter is sent to test worlds that might be dangerous. No world has ever passed this test." "What is this Arbiter?" Taehyun asked. "A living weapon," Ju said quietly. "What you might call a death beast. It will come soon." Outside, in space, the Alliance ships moved to defend Earth. But they were too few. The Vorik ships jumped away, their work done. The first contact with aliens had gone very wrong. And now, something terrible was coming to Earth. 3 months passed since the failed first contact. Earth changed in that time. Countries that once fought now worked together. A global defense force formed, led by Commander Minseo Choi. "Any sign of this Arbiter?" Minseo asked, looking at the large screens in the command center. Stars and satellites blinked across the dark map of space. "Nothing yet, sir," said the young officer next to him. "But the Alliance ships say it will come soon." Ju Park, the human-born Alliance officer, stood nearby. She had stayed on Earth to help prepare. "The Arbiter does not use normal space travel," she explained. "It will appear suddenly." As if her words made it happen, alarms began to sound. A red dot appeared on the space map. "Sir, something big just appeared in Earth orbit," shouted an officer. The screen showed a strange shape, not a metal ship like the Alliance or Vorik vessels. This looked like something alive. It was dark red and moved slowly around Earth. "Is that the Arbiter?" Mincio asked. Jiwoo nodded. "Yes, a living ship carrying a living weapon." A woman with glasses rushed into the room. This was Dr. Yunji Kang, Earth's top expert on alien life. "The scans are amazing," she said, excitement in her voice. "That ship is one organism, and inside is something even bigger. We need to destroy it before it attacks," Mincio said. "Wait," Dr. Kang held up her hand. "We don't know if it's here to attack. The Vorik said it was a test. Maybe we need to understand it first." Mincio frowned. "Dr. Kang, with all respect, that thing was called a death beast. I'm not waiting for it to show us why." As they argued, the living ship began to move. It dropped lower in the sky, heading toward land. "It's entering the atmosphere," called an officer. "Path shows it landing in Mongolia. Remote area, few people." "Ready the attack force," ordered Mincio. "Jets, tanks, everything." Dr. Kang stepped closer to him. "Commander, please, let me go with your team. If this is a test, we need to be smart. Shooting first might be the wrong answer." Mincio thought for a moment. "Fine, you can come, but when I give an order to attack, you follow it." The screen showed the living ship touching down in an empty plain. It seemed to melt into the ground, leaving something behind. Satellite images zoomed in to show a massive figure. It stood tall like a building, with a body covered in natural armor. It had many arms, each ending in what might be weapons or tools. Its head had no clear face, just sensors that looked in all directions. "The Arbiter has arrived," Jiwoo said quietly. "Now the test begins." "What kind of test is this?" asked Dr. Kang. "No one knows for sure," Jiwoo replied. "No world has ever passed. Most try to fight it and lose. Some try to run and are hunted down. The Vorik use the Arbiter to remove races they see as threats." Mincio's face became hard with determination. "Well, we won't go down without a fight. Earth has faced threats before. But never like this," warned Jiwoo. "The Arbiter was made to judge worlds. It has powers we don't understand." As the team prepared to leave, Dr. Kang looked once more at the image of the massive being. "What if fighting isn't the answer?" she whispered to herself. "What if that's exactly what we're not supposed to do?" But no one heard her as they rushed to face the greatest threat humanity had ever known. The sun rose over the flat lands of Mongolia as 5 military helicopters flew low across the plains. Inside the lead helicopter, Commander Minsu Choi checked his weapons one last time. 2 minutes to target, the pilot announced. Mincio looked at the soldiers around him. 20 of Earth's best fighters, armed with the strongest weapons humans had made. Next to him sat Dr. Yunji Kang, the scientist who had insisted on coming. "Remember," Mincio said to his team, "we try talking first, but if that thing makes one wrong move, we hit it with everything." The helicopters slowed and landed 1 kilometer from where the Arbiter stood. Through binoculars, Mincio could see the massive creature clearly now. It was even bigger than the pictures showed. At least 15 meters tall, with a body covered in plates like armor. It had not moved from the spot where it first appeared. "It's just standing there," Dr. Kang said. "Maybe it's waiting for something. Or studying us," Mincio replied. "Let's move in. Teams of 4, spread out. Dr. Kang, stay with me." The soldiers moved forward across the open ground. The Arbiter turned slightly, sensors on its head pointing toward them. Still, it did not move from its spot. "It sees us," whispered one soldier. "Keep moving," ordered Mincio. Slowly. When they were 500 meters away, Mincio raised a speaker device. "Attention, I am Commander Minso Choi of Earth. We know you were sent by the Vorik. We want no trouble. Please respond." The Arbiter made no sound. It simply watched them with its strange sensors. "Maybe it doesn't understand us," Dr. Kang suggested. "Or it doesn't care," said Minso. He spoke into the radio. "Alpha Team, move to position 2. Let's surround it." 4 soldiers moved to the right, their guns ready. As they did, the Arbiter shifted its weight. One massive foot moved forward. The ground shook slightly. "Sir, it's moving," the soldier called. "Hold positions," Mincio ordered. "Don't fire unless I say." The Arbiter took another step, then another. It was walking slowly toward Alpha Team. "Should we fall back?" asked the team leader. "Stand your ground," Mincio said. "Show it we're not afraid." When the Arbiter was just 100 meters from Alpha Team, it stopped again. A low sound came from it, like metal grinding on metal. "Is it trying to speak?" Dr. Kang wondered. Suddenly, one of the soldiers fired his weapon. The shot hit the Arbiter's chest and bounced off. "Who fired?" Mincio shouted. "I gave no order." "Sorry, sir," a young soldier called. "My finger slipped when it made that noise." The Arbiter stood perfectly still for 3 seconds. Then it moved with shocking speed. One long arm shot out, smashing into the ground where Alpha Team stood. 2 soldiers were thrown into the air. The others fired their weapons, but the bullets seemed to do nothing. All teams opened fire. Mincio commanded. The air filled with the sound of guns and explosions as every soldier attacked the Arbiter. Rockets hit its body. Bullets bounced off its armor. Nothing seemed to hurt it. The Arbiter moved through the gunfire as if it were rain. It did not seem angry. It simply attacked with terrible strength and speed. Within minutes, 15 soldiers were down. The others ran back toward the helicopters. "We need to retreat," Mincio shouted, pulling Dr. Kang with him. "Everyone fall back." As they ran, Dr. Kang looked back at the Arbiter. It had stopped chasing them. It simply stood watching as they fled. "It's not following," she said. "It could have killed us all, but it stopped." "That doesn't matter," Mincio replied, his face grim. "We need bigger weapons." But Dr. Kang was not listening. She was thinking about something important. The Arbiter had not attacked until they fired first. "Absolutely not," Commander Mincio said, his face red with anger. "We lost 12 good soldiers out there. 3 more may never walk again. And you want to go back." Dr. Yunji Kang stood her ground in the command center. 3 days had passed since the failed attack on the Arbiter. The creature had not moved from its position in Mongolia. "Commander, please listen," she said calmly. "The Arbiter did not attack until we fired first. Then it stopped when we ran away. That shows intelligence, maybe even restraint. Or maybe it's playing with us," Mincio argued. "The next attack force will have tanks and air support." Ambassador Taeyeon joined them, looking tired. "The world leaders want answers, not more fighting." "Dr. Kang, what do you suggest?" "Let me approach it peacefully," she said, "with a small team. No weapons." The room went quiet. Ju Park, the Alliance officer, spoke up. "No world has ever tried that approach," she said. "It is interesting." After much debate, Dr. Kang got permission. She chose 2 people to go with her: Do Hyun-yoon, an expert in languages, and Captain Soman Lee as military escort. "No guns," Dr. Kang told Captain Lee. "Then how do I protect you?" Soman asked. "By staying calm and helping us run if needed," Dr. Kang replied with a small smile. The next morning, they took a small helicopter to a spot 1 kilometer from the Arbiter. They would walk the rest. "I still think this is crazy," Soman said as they started walking across the open plain. "Sometimes crazy is exactly what we need," Do-hyun said, carrying equipment to record and analyze sounds. As they got closer to the massive creature, Dr. Kang held up a white flag. "Universal symbol of peace," she explained. At 500 meters, the Arbiter turned its sensors toward them. They stopped walking. "Now what?" asked Soman. "Now we show we are not a threat," Dr. Kang said. She sat down on the ground. "Join me." Reluctantly, the others sat too. "Do-hyun, play the message," Dr. Kang said. Do-hyun pressed a button on a speaker. A simple message played in many languages. "We come in peace. We wish to learn." The Arbiter made no response. It simply watched them with its strange sensors. After 10 minutes, Dr. Kang stood up. "I'm going closer." "Dr. Kang, wait," Soman called, but the scientist was already walking forward. Dr. Kang moved slowly until she was just 100 meters from the Arbiter. Then she stopped and bowed low. To everyone's surprise, the Arbiter lowered its massive body slightly, as if returning the bow. It copied her. Do-hyun whispered in amazement. Dr. Kang raised one hand in greeting. Slowly, the Arbiter raised one of its many arms. "It's mimicking her," Soman realized. "It's trying to communicate." For the next hour, Dr. Kang tried simple gestures. The Arbiter copied many of them. When she stepped forward, it stepped back, keeping the same distance between them. "It doesn't want us too close," she told the others when she returned. "But it's willing to interact." "How do we know what it wants?" asked Soman. "I noticed something strange," Dr. Kang said. "When I felt nervous, it became more alert. When I calmed myself, it seemed to relax too. I think it can sense emotions. So it responds to feelings more than words," Do-hyun said thoughtfully. "Exactly," Dr. Kang nodded. "This changes everything. We're not dealing with just a weapon. This is a highly intelligent being." As they flew back to the base, Captain Soman looked out the window at the distant shape of the Arbiter. "If it can feel what we feel," she said quietly, "then maybe we need to show it something besides fear." For the first time since the Arbiter arrived, they had hope. 1 week after the first peaceful contact, a small research base had been built 2 kilometers from the Arbiter. Dr. Kang led a team of 10 scientists who worked day and night to understand the creature. Captain Soman Lee had stayed as head of security. To everyone's surprise, she had become very interested in the Arbiter. "You visit it every day now," Dr. Kang said as Soman prepared for her morning walk. "Someone needs to check that it hasn't moved closer," Soman replied, but her voice lacked its usual sharpness. The truth was, Soman had started to feel a strange connection to the massive alien. Each day, she walked to the same spot, 300 meters from the Arbiter. She would sit on a rock and simply watch it. Sometimes she would talk, telling stories about Earth and her life. The Arbiter never made sounds back, but Soman was sure it listened. It always turned its sensors toward her when she arrived. Today, as she reached her usual spot, she noticed something new. Small animals had begun to appear near the Arbiter. Birds landed close to it. A family of deer grazed nearby. "They're not afraid of you," Soman said out loud. "Animals can sense danger better than humans. If they trust you, maybe we should too." As she watched, a bird landed on one of the Arbiter's lower arms. The massive creature did not move. It stayed perfectly still until the bird flew away on its own. "So gentle," Soman whispered. Then a thought came to her. "That's what I'll call you. Gentle." When she returned to the base, she found Dr. Kang excited about a new discovery. "We've been studying the small pieces that fell from the Arbiter's body," Dr. Kang explained, showing Soman a glass container with something like scales inside. "The DNA, if we can call it that, shows signs of engineering." "You mean it was made, not born?" Soman asked. "Exactly. The Vorik, or someone, created it as a weapon. But it's not just a simple animal. Its brain patterns are complex. Maybe as smart as a human, just different." Do-hyun joined them, carrying a tablet. "We've recorded the energy patterns it gives off. It's constantly scanning its surroundings. But look at this." He showed them a chart with lines that moved up and down. "When Captain Lee visits, the patterns change. They become more regular, almost calm." Salman felt her cheeks grow warm. I just sit there. I talk sometimes. It likes you, Dr. Kang said with a smile. Or at least, it responds to you differently. That evening, Commander Mincio arrived at the base for an update. He was not happy with what he heard. You named it, he asked Salman in disbelief. It's not a pet, Captain. It's a weapon sent to test us, maybe destroy us. With respect, sir, I don't think that's all it is, Salman replied. Gentle has had many chances to attack. It hasn't. Gentle, Mincio repeated, shaking his head. Have you all forgotten why it's here? The Vorik sent it to judge if we deserve to live or die. Maybe that was their plan, Dr. Kang said. But what if the Arbiter has its own mind? What if it can choose? Before Mincio could answer, alarms began to sound. A researcher ran into the room. A message from Space Command, he said, his face pale. Vorik ships have been spotted entering our system. They're coming to check on the Arbiter's progress. Mincio's face turned grim. Then we're out of time. They'll expect their weapon to have done its job. Salman looked out the window toward where Gentle stood in the distance. For the first time, she felt afraid not for herself, but for the creature she had named. The sky above the research base filled with dark shapes as 3 Vorik ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They were smaller than the large vessels that had first appeared, but still much bigger than any human aircraft. World leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Ambassador Taeyeon Kim spoke with them through video screens, while Commander Mincio stood nearby at the base. The Vorik demand to speak with us, Taeyeon said, his face serious. They want to know if the Arbiter has completed its test. And what happens if it hasn't? Asked Mincio. They did not say, but their ships are armed, Taeyeon replied. An hour later, a single Vorik stepped out of a small shuttle that landed near the base. The alien had red scales and yellow eyes with black lines for pupils. Sharp teeth showed when it spoke. I am Judge of Worlds, the Vorik said. I come to see the Arbiter's work. Dr. Kang, Mincio, and Taeyeon met with the alien in the main room of the base. Salman stood guard by the door, watching carefully. The Arbiter has done no harm to our world, Taeyeon said. We have established peaceful contact with it. The Vorik's eyes widened. Impossible. The Arbiter destroys threats. Your kind make weapons that could one day challenge us. You were marked for testing. We've been studying the Arbiter, Dr. Kang said. It's intelligent. It responds to emotions. It seems to be learning about us. Judge of Worlds made a sound like stones breaking. It took Salman a moment to realize the alien was laughing. The Arbiter is a tool, not a person, the Vorik said. It follows its programming. If it has not destroyed you, then it is broken. The alien turned to a device on its arm and pressed buttons. Outside, in the distance, the Arbiter suddenly moved. It took 3 steps forward, then stopped. See, I control it, the Vorik said. And now I give you a choice. What choice? Mincio asked, his hand moving closer to his gun. Prove you are not a threat to the Vorik Empire, Judge of Worlds said. Destroy the Arbiter yourselves. The room went silent. Taeyeon spoke first. And if we refuse? The Vorik smiled, showing all its sharp teeth. Then our ships will destroy this continent, and we will send more Arbiters until your world is clean. You can't expect us to destroy something that hasn't harmed us, Dr. Kang argued. I expect you to choose survival, Judge of Worlds replied. We have done this many times. Some races fight and die. Some obey and live. We need time to discuss this, Taeyeon said carefully. You have 1 day, the Vorik said. Then we will know your answer. The alien turned and walked back to its shuttle. When the Vorik was gone, the humans gathered to talk. We have no choice, Mincio said. We must destroy the Arbiter to save Earth. But how? Dr. Kang asked. Our weapons couldn't hurt it before. The Vorik wouldn't give us this task if it was impossible, Taeyeon reasoned. They must know a way. Salman had been quiet, But now she spoke. So we kill Gentle because we're afraid. That makes us exactly what the Vork think we are, violent and dangerous. This isn't about one creature, Mincio argued. This is about all life on Earth. Salmon looked at each of them. I need to see Gentle. Before anyone could stop her, she walked out. She moved quickly across the open ground toward where the arbiter stood. As she got close, she realized she was crying. They want us to kill you, she said, but I won't let them. For the first time, the arbiter moved toward her. It stopped just 50 meters away, closer than it had ever come before. And then something amazing happened. One of its arms extended, not to attack, but to point at Soman's face, at her tears. Somehow, Soman knew what it was asking. Yes, she whispered. I'm sad because I'm afraid for you. The arbiter made a low sound, like nothing she had heard before. It wasn't mechanical or threatening. It sounded like a question. We need to talk, Dr. Kang said, finding Soman sitting alone outside the base. It was late, and the stars shone bright above them. I won't help them kill Gentle, Soman said, her voice firm. I'm not asking you to, Dr. Kang replied, sitting next to her. I think there's something important the Vork don't want us to know. She showed Soman a tablet with strange patterns on it. These are deep scans of the arbiter's brain. See these marks? They look like scars. Something was done to it. What does that mean? Soman asked. I think the arbiter was changed to make it follow orders, but underneath, there's something else, something more. They were joined by Doyen, who looked excited despite the late hour. I've been studying the signals from the arbiter. It sends out pulses regularly, like it's reporting to someone. The Vork? Soman asked. No, the pattern is wrong, Doyen said. I think it's trying to call home, but something is blocking it. The three talked long into the night. As the sky began to lighten with dawn, they had a plan. It's risky, Dr. Kang warned. If we're wrong, Earth could pay the price. And if we do nothing, we become killers, Soman replied. I'd rather die trying to do right. They went to find Ambassador Taehyun. He listened to their idea with a serious face. What you're suggesting is dangerous, he said when they finished. But I see no better option. I will help. While Taehyun went to speak with the Vork, Dr. Kang and her team prepared their equipment. Soman had the hardest job. She needed to communicate their plan to Gentle. She walked out to the arbiter alone. It watched her approach with its many sensors. I hope you can understand me, Soman said when she was close. The Vork want us to destroy you, or they will attack Earth. But we have a plan to save both of us. She showed Gentle a small device. This will make a very big explosion. We need the Vork to think you are destroyed. Can you hide under the ground during the explosion? Then stay hidden until they leave. The arbiter made no sound or movement for a long moment. Then, slowly, it lowered its massive body to the ground. One arm reached out and touched the soil, as if testing it. Yes, Soman said, her heart beating fast. Dig down and hide. Please. Back at the base, Taehyun met with Judge of Worlds. We have decided to follow your demand, Taehyun said. We will destroy the arbiter to prove we are not a threat. The Vork looked pleased. Wise choice. Our ships will watch from above to make sure it is done. We have prepared a special weapon, Taehyun continued. It will take a few hours to set up. We invite you to witness the destruction from a safe distance. When everything was ready, the humans gathered on a hill 2 kilometers away. The Vork stood with them, watching through a special device. Dr. Kang activated the equipment they had set up around Gentle. A field of energy appeared, hiding what was happening from view. What is this? Judge of Worlds demanded. Protection, Taehyun explained. The explosion will be very big. Under cover of the energy field, Gentle was digging down into the earth, just as Soman had asked. Deep underground, it would be safe from what came next. When the energy field dropped, Dr. Kang pressed a button. A massive explosion shook the ground. Fire and smoke filled the air where Gentle had been. Judge of Worlds watched carefully through its device. "It is done," the Vorik said, sounding satisfied. "Your world is spared." As the Vorik turned to leave, Salmon looked at the smoking crater. No one could see the tears in her eyes. She hoped that somewhere deep underground, Gentle was safe and waiting. The Vorik ships hung in the sky above Earth like dark knives. Judge of Worlds had returned to the main ship after watching the Arbiter's apparent destruction. Ambassador Taeyun and the others waited nervously at the command center. "They should be leaving soon," Taeyun said, watching the screens that showed the Vorik ships. Commander Mincio frowned. "Something feels wrong. They've been up there too long." Suddenly, alarms began to sound. The screens showed new activity from the Vorik ships. Weapon systems were powering up. "They're preparing to fire," shouted an officer. Juwoo Park, the Alliance officer, looked shocked. "They're breaking their word. They promised to leave if you destroy the Arbiter." "We need to evacuate," Mincio ordered. "Get everyone to the underground shelters." As people rushed to follow his orders, Salmon stood still, looking at a different screen. It showed the crater where Gentle had supposedly been destroyed. There was movement in the dirt. "Look," she called out. "Something's happening." Everyone stopped to watch as the ground at the crater began to rise. A massive shape pushed up through the earth. Gentle emerged, covered in dirt, but very much alive. "It worked," Dr. Kang said, smiling despite the danger. "It understood our plan." The Arbiter stood tall, turning its sensors toward the sky, where the Vorik ships prepared to attack. Then it did something none of them expected. Its body began to change. Plates shifted, arms extended, and parts of its body opened to reveal what looked like weapons. But these were unlike any weapons humans had seen before. "It's transforming," Do-yeon whispered in awe. In the sky, the Vorik ships fired their first shots. Beams of energy headed toward Earth's surface. Before they could hit, Gentle raised its arms. Energy flowed from the Arbiter into the sky, creating a shield that stopped the Vorik attack. "It's protecting us," Salmon said. The Arbiter wasn't just defending. It sent pulses of energy back toward the Vorik ships, not to destroy them, but to disable their weapons. On the communication screen, Judge of Worlds appeared, looking angry and confused. "What is this?" the Vorik demanded. "The Arbiter should be destroyed." "You broke your promise," Taehyun replied calmly. "You said you would leave if we destroy the Arbiter. Instead, you attacked. Humans are too dangerous to live," Judge of Worlds hissed. "The Arbiter should have seen that." "Maybe it saw something else in us," Salmon suggested. Suddenly, new ships appeared in Earth's sky. They were blue and shining, with smooth curves unlike the sharp lines of the Vorik vessels. "Alliance ships," Juwoo exclaimed. "But how did they know to come?" Dr. Kang looked at the readings from Gentle. The pulses Do-yeon detected. They weren't reports to the Vorik. They were calls for help to the Alliance. The Alliance ships surrounded the Vorik vessels, outnumbering them 3-1. On the screen, a new face appeared next to Judge of Worlds. It was Speak for All, the Alliance leader they had met months ago. "This violation of galactic law will be punished," Speak for All told the Vorik. "You sent an Arbiter without proper cause, and then attacked after agreement was reached." Judge of Worlds looked defeated. The Arbiter betrayed its purpose. It was made to destroy threats. "No," Speak for All replied. "Arbiters were made to judge worthiness, not destroy. You changed them, used them as weapons, but their true nature remains." As the humans watched, the Vorik ships powered down. The Alliance had won without firing a shot. Outside, Gentle stood tall under the sun, its weapons now hidden away again. It turned its sensors toward the research base, as if looking for someone. Salmon knew it was looking for her. 1 month after the Vorik attack, Earth had changed. The Alliance had officially invited humans to join their galactic community. Ambassador Taehyun Kim now led a team preparing for humanity's new role among the stars. In Mongolia, at the site where Gentle first appeared, A new building stood. Not a military base or research center, but a home, the first embassy for non-human life on Earth. Somin Lee walked through its wide halls toward the central room. She no longer wore a military uniform. Today she wore simple clothes and carried a small box. "Are you ready?" Dr. Kang asked, meeting her in the hallway. "The Alliance representatives are waiting." "I'm nervous," Somin admitted. "What if I'm making the wrong choice?" "Trust your heart," Dr. Kang said with a smile. "It led you well so far." They entered the central room, a huge space with a ceiling that opened to the sky. Gentle stood in the center, its massive body now clean and shining in the sunlight. Around it stood Alliance members, including Speak for All and Juwu Park. "Welcome to this historic day," Speak for All said as Somin approached. "Never before has an arbiter chosen to stay with a world it was sent to judge." Juwu added, "And never before has any species given an arbiter a name or treated it with kindness." Somin walked forward until she stood directly before Gentle. The creature lowered itself slightly, bringing its sensors level with her face. "The Alliance has explained everything," Somin said, speaking directly to Gentle. "They created the arbiters to be judges of character, to test if species were kind enough to join the galactic community. But the Vorik changed some of you, forced you to be weapons." Gentle made a low, gentle sound that everyone had come to recognize as agreement. "Today," Somin continued, "I am officially accepting the role of Earth's first Arbiter Ambassador. And you, Gentle, will be registered as our first non-human citizen." She opened the small box she carried. Inside was a simple band of metal with Earth's symbol on it. With careful movements, she attached it to one of Gentle's smaller arms. "You are no longer a weapon or a judge," she said. "You are free to choose your own purpose." Speak for All stepped forward. This moment marks a turning point in galactic history. Word has spread to other arbiters across the galaxy. Many are questioning their role for the first time. "What will happen to them?" Dr. Kang asked. "Some may choose to follow Gentle's example," Speak for All replied. "The Alliance will help them find new homes, new purposes." Commander Mincio, who had watched quietly from the side, now approached. He looked up at Gentle with a face that showed both respect and a little fear. "I was wrong about you," he said simply. "Thank you for protecting us when you could have destroyed us." Gentle moved one arm in a gesture that had become familiar, acknowledgement and acceptance. Later that day, as the sun began to set, Somin sat outside with Gentle. The Arbiter had made a spot for itself on a hill overlooking a valley where flowers were beginning to grow. "I still don't fully understand you," Somin said, "and you probably don't fully understand me either. But we're learning together." Gentle made a series of sounds that Doyeon was slowly translating into a language. This sound meant something like different but same. "Yes," Somin agreed, "different but same. That's what humanity is discovering about the universe. We're not alone, and we're not so different after all." As stars appeared in the darkening sky, Somin pointed up at them. "Soon we'll go there together. There's so much to see, so much to learn." Gentle raised one arm toward the stars, mirroring her gesture. The enemy had sent a death beast to end humanity. A human had named it Gentle, and together they had changed the galaxy.